Welcome back, episode 2, Egg Timer Hour, and on the clock. It's the last time we left. We left with Pickles and Hannibal. Hannibal is at the gate. That's the song that Dave and myself wrote. Sugar Dave, say hey, Sugar Dave.
Pickles.
Pickles.
What are you talking about,
yeah.
Pickles?
CSQUARE had a story about pickles he wanted to share, I think.
Don't you remember me saying, "Hey, don't you hate pickles"?
Okay, you were looking at me like I was crazy too, CSQUARE.
Yep.
No,
I
was
now.
like the fact that he couldn't remember that memorable egg timer moment.
I remember.
Right at the end. And
Right
we've
at
also
the
got the Sandman with us again. Say hello, Sandman.
Yeah, happy National Hug Day.
I got something you can hug right over here.
Yeah, both of these nuts.
So last time we were talking about the song Hannibal is at the gate, and CSQUARE mentioned it was political, and wasn't necessarily meant to go left or right of the politico side, but I think that was something that Dave and I wanted to address too.
I thought it was generalized commentary. I didn't feel like it was slanted.
I did not say at any point it was slanted.
No, we didn't. You said it was political though, but it's hard to be political and not be left or right.
Oh, I meant it was androgynously political.
Mm-hmm. It's a good word.
Good way to describe it.
It has no gender. It just is.
Non-binary. I don't even know what that means. I really don't.
Non-binary commentary. Your politics can fuck anything at once.
That's right. So
okay, I'm not gonna go into politics. Shut up, Chris. I mean, gosh, my name's
no, it's okay. We can however you want to go. But
my name's.
We're going more into the political realm though, because why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience, Sugar Dave, seeing who did you see at the Paramount? John Michael Montgomery and
John Michael Montgomery and his kid.
Bill Montgomery.
Something like that. You know, it was. First off, I will say you could tell the dude's been doing it for 40 plus years. He was excellent. It's not my cup of. Yeah, they were real tight. You could tell like it was easy as putting on pants for them. You know, they just those old dudes that's done it that long. But his kid was out there opening up and saying, "Are you allowed to drink beer here? I'm just curious. Where's my beer drinkers at?" All that, you know, riling up the crowd. And then he's like, "Oh, you are? Oh, hell yeah. Where's my beer drinkers at? Woo! Long as it ain't Bud Light." And, you know, some people were like, some people were, hell yeah. And other people were, boo. And that's just, I just don't dig that shit, you know? Like, I've seen Steve Earle before, too. And he was very similar, but he went on a Trump rant. Like, even saying, fuck Trump and all this. And, you know, it has nothing to do with political beliefs. I'm just like, sing your song. Shut the fuck up and sing your song. And I just think that's arrogance.
What do you think about the argument when people are like, because I like Pearl Jam and Pearl Jam is obviously a political band, but whenever they say something that people disagree with, they're like, well, they're a political band. How can you get upset about what they say? It's like, but I'm with you. I'm kind of like, sing Jeremy, let's move on. Quit trying just because you're in a famous position. You shouldn't push your politics on your entire fan base, which, I mean, they don't expect their fans to get on board with their beliefs either. But I don't know. I just get a little weird whenever you try to sway something like that one thing or the other. It just seems like ulterior motivated.
I think it's egotistical as well to think like you're obviously smart, so you have to agree with me because I'm so smart and what I believe is obviously correct. You know what I mean? Kind of like that guy. I was with Brandon one time and I met this dude and I was like, "Hey, I'm Dave." Hey, I'm not going to say his name, but then he started talking about, I mean, totally off topic. He all of a sudden started talking about, when you think about it, Hitler really was a genius. And I was like, what the? This guy didn't know me from Adam. And he just started pushing his beliefs that Hitler was a genius. And, I was
Yeah.
like, fuck this guy. I just think it's crazy to assume, like, to walk into a room full of 10,000 people and go, well, surely they're not stupid here and they're going to agree with me. I think it's very, very arrogant. And besides, let's say you're a Biden supporter or a Trump supporter, nothing I say is going to change your mind.
Right.
Not in 1,000 years.
Nothing. And if I'm a Biden supporter, nothing you're going to say is going to make me go, you know what? Sandman's right. Fuck Biden. No, it's not going to happen. People have their beliefs and they stick to it. So I just think it's a waste of everyone's time. Shut up and sing. Am I coming off like a dick?
No.
No, no. And I will allow, I'll talk some politics because to me, that tells you who has a code and who doesn't, because if they're following that stuff, then people that are into politics have some sort of compass, and for that reason, I'm kind of okay with it. But
it always points to them.
But I do lean one way, but I talk just as much about where that side gets it wrong as I do. It's nobody's got all the answers.
No.
And right, so it's, but I enjoy talking to people that way just to see what makes a person tick a little bit. It's a little bit of insight into the person. But that's where I come from on politics.
Yeah.
It's like,
I just don't understand that mindset of, like, let's go back to the perfect example. If Sandman said, go Trump, and I'm against Trump, I would never be like, Sandman sucks. I don't understand that mentality. And there's so many people that do that. If you have a differing political opinion, it's like, fuck you. And that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I've never understood that.
Here's what gets me is that when politics seem to define the person and they identify with them as an identity, that is when they get in trouble, because then if you are against them, you are against their politics, you're against them. And that's somewhat naive. That's thinking that these politicians take you into consideration, and in no way do they.
Right.
They don't. You are a vote to them. You are the next job that they get insurance for the rest of their life. And
that's why I don't understand when people attach themselves to politics like that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, C-Square.
I mean, you and I are in the same vein here. It's like it almost reveals a naivety, if you will, that this person's going to save us. It's kind of like when I'm going to go into this. It's kind of like when in the Bible, when the Israelites, Moses is on the old mountain, right? And he's getting the 10 Commandments, and he comes down and he says, hey guys, don't worship any other gods for a minute. Okay. He goes up there, does the 10 Commandments, comes back down, and they're worshiping like this golden calf. Because they wanted something to worship, something to save them so bad they couldn't even wait 10 minutes or probably days, but you know what I mean.
Right.
And he comes down, he breaks the 10 Commandments because he's so pissed off about it. Like, I just told you guys for 2 seconds. Wait a minute, we got God talking to us up here. Like, but that's the I guess the what do you call that, analogy or the meaning, whatever. I mean, the meaning behind the whole thing is that we want a king. We want a savior. We think someone else can save us. And I think we do that in our daily lives too. We think other people's opinions matter and that's going to save us, or likes will save us, or money, but
so do you think go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, the point is like, we are the only person that can save us. If you believe in God, I do. I believe God is really the only thing, and it is the only entity that can save me. Now, if people don't believe in God, it's probably them. Like, you got to do stuff for yourself and figure out how to do it. Like, people always I do a lot of therapy, right? Everybody's like, I talked to this chick today and she was like, I said, so what do you think you're going to get out of therapy? I just thought I would be cured. Like on the first second. And I was like, I'm going to let you know, no one's that good.
If they were, they would be rich beyond comprehension.
That's what I told her. I said, I would be so rich.
Yep.
But see, you also get all these internet self-help people and gurus. I don't know if you've seen these people, but they act like they have the answer too, and they're playing upon that same golden calf mentality. People want a savior, they need guidance, because life is confusing and chaotic. That's true, but
Yeah, it's way easier when someone's looking right at you and say, "Here's," and that's almost like the charlatan side of religion too, isn't it? Like
mhm.
people who really take advantage of people through spirituality. Like they'll pinpoint an emotion from an experience they've had, whatever it is, and they will just zero in on that thing and exploit it to bring you over to, and maybe you'll become a fanatic for it. But to go back to like art and politics and musicians who, like, do you think when you see a band or a performer start making political statements, do you think it's to sway, or do you think they just feel this, that it's incumbent upon them to say something, to make it known where they stand on the issue? Do you think they're actually
My
trying to sway people, or they just feel compelled to?
I think my personal opinion about that is I get it. I couldn't imagine what it'd be like to be Eddie Vedder, and everywhere you go, people are like, "You're fucking awesome. You're a genius." You know, I think it's easy to fall in that mentality. Damn, I am talented. I am awesome. You know, and to think
I'm gonna tell people how to vote.
Yep.
I mean, you have to
That's
have that mentality to get where they are.
yeah,
You don't say
I
I suck and get to the top.
yeah, absolutely. I
No
agree
one
with
does that. No one, even Kurt Cobain, even he had some
Mhm.
problems. He thought he was he knew he was awesome.
Yeah,
You know, he got up in front of people, and like that takes a lot.
Well, he knew what he
So
wanted too. They knew what they wanted. That was the thing I had with that whole group. Was, to me, what interested me was they seemed like they didn't want this thing, and they were forced in this position where, like, they were a spokesman for a generation, Kurt Cobain and Eddie Vedder. But it's not that they wanted that position, but they wanted to be successful. They wanted to sell a record, you know.
Yeah, they were anointed.
Pretty
The
much.
crown was placed upon him. Yeah.
also, it really kind of defines the time of the angsty teen with, no. There's really a term for it. It's like
It was
almost a
like the
nihilistic
first
anti-glam.
generation that had parents that were doing heroin and oxys too. You know, it was like as if
yeah.
like that music generation was mad because their parents were drug addicts. In a lot of cases, I'm just saying, you could see why the grunge movement took off. To me, I mean that was why I saw it taking off, was because it was that generation that where things were getting worse progressively by generation, the job market, healthcare costs, college costs, stuff like that, and then it just seemed like the right place, the right time.
I think it started that way, and then I mean, I didn't grow up in a household like that at all, like, by a long shot, not even. But I caught on to it when it was commercialized, when it was a
Mm.
selling point, when it's the clothes that you buy, and the whole. It was just very commercialized by the time I got into it.
Right.
But yeah, it probably
If you
started
think
more
about
like
it,
with what you said.
it's almost like I remember growing up. There was this mentality of being smart and caring about school and all that stuff was uncool. It was uncool to, not caring was cool. Now it's not like that. Now it's caring is cool. Like, I care so much about this. I'm so woke. It's a totally different mentality, almost like nihilism, like nothing matters, and like why are you trying? Like being the straight A student wasn't cool. Everybody was, what I mean? Like, did you guys feel that when you were growing up? Like,
Well, I
they kind
was
of
the
talk.
straight A student.
Well, you weren't
I
cool.
felt that.
So what I'm
Right.
saying,
But I could play guitar, and that made me cool.
we all have to do something. I wasn't
Exactly.
I wasn't exactly like a straight A student, but I was not a bad student. I was, but I'm there was that mentality. They talk about it in 21 Jump Street. I hate to quote that movie, but they talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
When they go back and like the dude thinks he's
Yeah.
going to be cool again, and everything he did that was cool back then is not cool, and all the stuff that wasn't cool then is now cool.
Mhm.
Like people wearing the backpacks, both shoulder straps. Yeah, exactly.
I remember I remember I did the both shoulder straps to be different. Like it's funny that was a thing. One shoulder strap, like
Oh, I did that because of Marty McFly, the one shoulder strap. Like so many life decisions were because of Marty McFly. I play
I
guitar
remember-
because Marty McFly.
that's
When I
really
was
why
in
you play
junior
guitar.
It started with it.
When I was in junior high, I remember guys would wear suspenders, but they would let them hang down.
Yeah, that
They-
too.
they-
I wore suspenders because of Marty
Yep.
McFly.
But it was like they weren't even on any shoulders. You know, it was just like they were
Yeah.
hanging down. It was just like,
Some of them wearing belts too.
Did,
yeah,
didn't,
right.
didn't a certain genre of music adopt that, like ska or something? I seem like I remember
Yeah,
the suspenders or the swing, something like that.
probably both. Like there's different, different versions. The swing revival.
By
Thank
the way,
goodness that
I
didn't
should
happen.
I want it perfectly known that what I was saying earlier, like
No backtracking now. We know you're a Trump supporter.
nothing to do. Like if he'd said, like if Steve Irwin said "fuck Biden," I'd been like, "Man, shut up." Or if, well, the Bud Light thing. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't care about Bud Light.
Yeah, even to mention that, whenever there's a different, because whenever you saw Steve Earle, that was a different time. That was years ago when he's in there talking fuck Trump. And
Yeah.
now the controversy was, what did they say about Bud Light? What was
That they had a transgender.
No. I mean, like, who said what at the Paramount?
Oh,
when he
he's
saw
like,
him?
where's my beer drinkers at? Long as it ain't Bud Light.
As long as it ain't Bud Light. So
Yeah.
it's political and it's sexualized.
Yeah.
So
I like that. I like that.
yeah,
Oh.
I like sexy politics. Yeah, those are two words that go right next to each other: sex and politics, unless it's a scandal.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
count the
If you're a
ballots.
politician in Florida, it does run together a lot. But
Hey, Sandman, I see you're hanging Chad over there.
yeah, he's been up.
It's
there a
awful
while.
confusing. So confused by hanging chads. That's a 23-year-old joke now.
Yeah. Gosh, I remember that was
You got a couple laughs.
'Cause I
It's, yeah,
I
I'm not
remember I used
knocking it.
I used to stay up and watch returns, and this started when
Oh my God.
Reagan killed Mondale in '84, and
Uh,
that
was-
was like the first night that, but it happens every 4
How
years
old
now.
were you?
Yeah, no doubt.
I was 5.
I was a
Yeah,
fifth
I was
grader.
4.
Fifth grader. I stayed up
Wow.
watching the. But my dad was, he was a delegate to the convention and stuff like that. I mean, it was just part of the household, And where was I going with that?
Go somewhere.
Yeah, I lost that. God.
Bud Light, sex and politics.
Yeah, I might get
Reagan.
back here in a second.
Okay, make it sexy.
But
So,
the Bush and Gore, that was like the first time I
Yeah.
remember staying up and not knowing who the president was going to be. And now it's like,
Yeah,
now
was
you
so
have to
weird.
wait 3 days every 4 years. It's like that's the new norm now. It's like
Yeah.
you don't know what it's going to be that night. But yeah, that's where I was going with it.
That is a good point. I haven't thought about that before. I remember the Gore Bush thing too.
I remember when George Bush Sr. got elected, I went and saw Little Shop of Horrors at the Paramount.
Oh wow.
I just remember seeing Little Shop of Horrors and
The
George
movie?
Bush got elected.
Do,
Or
do
No,
you
play?
remember?
the play.
Do you remember
My
who
dad
beat?
took me, which is strange. He beat not Dukakis.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he did? Okay,
Yeah.
wow.
I had a cat named Kitty Dukakis. Don't know why I thought of that.
Hey Bondo, is that your Dukakis hanging out over there?
Oh, indeed it is. Let me put that back up. Don't look at
Political
my Dukakis.
It's either like a motorcycle or someone's deformed penis. And I got this new
Thinking about
here,
going
man.
Yeah.
thinking about going the full Mondale.
Or an Eastern
I got-
European pastry might
Yeah.
be in there too.
I got a power bane on this Dukakis over here. It goes back. It is a they got pastry. I'll take 2 Dukaki and
Four
Blah,
naters.
blah.
Dukaki.
Is that the plural of Dukakis?
It's the plural of Dukakis. Dukaki.
Dukaki.
It's when they're not shaped the
That's-
same. They're not symmetrical.
Don't look that up on the internet. Don't look
Yeah, don't-
Dukaki up on the.
Don't look up
That's-
Dukaki.
That
has
just
to be
means
bad.
It means like
Yeah,
one girl
don't
getting
spell it
pooped
with a
on.
B. Yeah, don't spell it with a B. Bukkake. Yeah, that's
Dukaki is poop. Bukaki is.
Yes, something else, something different. We'll talk about that on the Invisible Wires podcast.
How much do you... Oh, sorry.
No. I do that to you all the time. You can do it to me.
You know what I might do? When you get a sponsor, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to
Yeah,
say
I know
the
what
worst
you're
thing
gonna do.
ever.
Okay.
We got a
That's fair
sponsor
enough.
on the other podcast, and he starts talking about.
I said a thing. I said a nervous thing, and then you questioned me on it, so I had to go with it.
You know what? I won't
I
bring up
s-
what it was. You brought up the worst
What a
thing.
guy! I know.
You brought up the
it was.
worst thing of all time.
It was a soggy cookie.
God.
So you can Google that for those out there. It was terrible. On that note, C-Square has to step out of frame.
that was a
But
or was it biscuit? I thought it was soggy biscuit.
it was
is
soggy
biscuit.
biscuit.
In
was a
Canada,
soggy
it's the soggy cookie. Then Canada, they use cookies. But
Yes. Foraging on.
sorry,
Oh
I
my
forgot.
word. No, it's okay. I like it. Soggy biscuits. I love them. No,
Canada.
Oh my God! Why did I Google it?
yeah, don't do that.
He just
Jesus,
We told you not to.
that's why I did it.
that's beautiful.
What kind of? I would love to see what came up on your screen.
Yeah. What do you got to say for yourself? Yeah, something came
That-
up on that
I'm
screen.
glad it's a video podcast because that face says it
It's
all.
not a
Yes,
work
it does.
computer, is it?
Hey, Sugar Dave, you changed races after you saw that. Like, you
He
changed-
did. He's ghost white.
They changed faces, that's for sure.
like,
It's blue waffles all over again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gross.
all right.
Uh,
Bring it back around again.
yeah. Let's,
what, Dave? You've had that shirt for a long time. You like that? You like
For-
that shirt?
yeah.
I get
for at
it.
least
Love it.
25 minutes.
Yep.
You always choose the no T-shirt underneath, which is brave.
Very brave.
You know what I'd like to see you in?
What?
A Henley. You know what a Henley is?
Oh wow.
I don't know what a Henley is.
A
It's
Henley
kind
is a T. Go ahead.
of like
It-
imagine a turtleneck, but it's instead of that kind of material,
Uh-huh.
but it's like tight collared around and just like 3 buttons. There.
Ew.
Oh, that's called a Henley. Okay.
almost like a long
the way
john top.
the way you describe no,
That's
You
not
looked
a
at-
Henley.
no.
That looks a
That's
little
what it
weird.
said.
The way you described it, Sandman, is the worst description of it. You know how
Look it
comfortable a
up, Bondo,
turtleneck
and
is?
tell me I'm
All
wrong.
right. What's a Henley then, C-Square?
It's It's basically like a T-shirt with buttons down the front, like two
That's
or
what he
three
said.
No. He said,
What?
"Imagine a turtleneck first."
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's almost like
I guess you're
it's
right.
a little bit thicker, but it's not quite sweater thick. But
It has
like,
a collar.
I have T-shirt Henleys. I don't know why I'm telling you this, Dave. I'm just talking shit. But you need some Henleys, and not the. Never start anything off with, you know how comfortable a turtleneck is. It's kind of like that.
Thank you.
A turtleneck is not comfortable. There's
I'd
I
say,
got my
but take the top off, but it's that kind of thickness, like turtle.
I
It's
mean,
like a
it could
waffle
be.
shirt. Yeah, but there are thin Henleys and there. Yeah, I
Yeah.
never knew that's called a Henley.
Yeah, there's waffle thermal Henleys and there's like T-shirt Henleys.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
Why am I
So is
trying to
that-
dress? Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. They're light. You can still show your chest. It's all the things you want in a shirt.
Yeah.
Except I like shirts with collars myself. I like a
Yeah,
collar. I like a
that's what I
Henley
was
though
thinking
too.
of.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking of when
But there's
when I
t-shirt
think of
versions of it. I don't know why I'm trying to dress Sugar Dave over here.
I think you were trying to transition from the shock that we just had, just
I was
to move
yeah, I
us.
was.
It was valiant.
But we
effort.
all do have a shirt that's our favorite shirt. You know what I mean? Our go-to shirt.
Oh, I've got like probably 20 of these. Oh,
I don't doubt it. It's like if you were a superhero, your like uniform would be
Yep.
plaid. Like that's plaid man.
I actually think he is wearing that in the fucking video we've been talking about.
He
You're wearing
is.
that in the Hannibal video. You
he
are.
is.
Wow.
He is.
dude, it's I don't know the brand, but it's like spill proof. Like I can pour pop on it and it wouldn't get wet.
Do it. Let's see. Prove it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Listen, I like to pour soda on my shoulder at least every Thursday. And these
Yes.
shirts are just taking a toll on them. That's a requirement for your shirt. It must be.
Yep.
It does make sense. Let's say you win a championship game, they pour the Gatorade on you.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Just a little cold.
Now, would you call that
What am
flannel or tartan?
It's not flannel because flannel's the material.
Right.
Right.
Soggy biscuit, no stains.
It is.
This is a sog proof shirt.
Exactly.
Hey, you know the first time I heard about that, Sugar Dave, you were there. You were in the room the first time I ever heard about such a
You guys
thing.
You're around a
It
biscuit.
was about a cookie though. Do you remember hearing that?
Was it
When
back
we were-
before I quit drinking?
I'm sure of it. It's when
Chances are no.
we were doing the green light record,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Gary, you don't remember Gary talking about like the last person to finish has to eat the cookie, and we was all like, "Oh my god, that's the worst thing ever." He's
No,
like
no.
shaking his head. No, okay, well I just feel dumb then.
Some things you don't have to remember.
No, it's ingrained in my brain for
I
whatever
wonder
reason.
if that's ever been done. I'm sure it has. Don't you
Yeah,
think, guys?
I guarantee
Sure.
it.
It's probably being done right now somewhere.
I guarantee you right now, it's happening.
Yeah.
Live
Some
with
frat-
that.
Some frat initiation.
Someone's gonna hear this. Maybe someone hears this and they're like, "What are they talking about? These guys?" So first they start talking about music and it was cool, and then they went off on this. Actually, they're like, "They're talking about boring music," and then they started talking about soggy biscuits and cookies. Ugh.
I love
Gross.
iced cookies, personally, but
I'm gonna have to down a bottle of Cholula, but when we get done with this, just so I can think of something else. Hot sauce, just habanero or something.
what's Cholula? Is that hot sauce?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's like the next generation Tabasco. Yeah,
Oh,
Like a
upgraded
step up.
Tabasco.
yeah. It's
I can't take hot, man. Can't do it. I just don't do hot. I start sweating. I start cursing.
I like it to a certain degree. When it's so hot you can't taste it, then I'm out.
yeah.
Right.
It's like I used some today on some chicken casserole. Gave it a little kick. It's good.
Little pep.
A little bit of zing.
There's like this.
Hey,
I can't think the name of it, but they're making margaritas with it now. But it's kind of like a chili powder kind of margarita, saltish kind of thing.
Oh, like on the
Mhm.
rim?
Yeah. Oh, God, I can't remember the name of it. It's good. But like, I mean, you could use it for anything. I mean, like just salt and chili or
Yeah.
French fries, whatever. But they use it for, on the rims of glasses.
what are you doing over there, Sugar Dave? You working a puzzle?
Huh?
Are you working a puzzle?
Now, I dumped a bunch of shit in my desk here the other day, and I haven't got a chance to look at it.
Oh,
Finding
sounds
all
like
kinds
you.
of
building an engine over there.
So if we're gonna talk about something, let's talk about the first time you played out music.
Okay.
Like
Who goes
you
first?
played in front of people.
I'm trying to remember.
While you remember, I'll tell mine.
Go ahead.
First time I played out in front of people was at the Paramount Arts Center in the coffee shop. I know I've probably told the story before, but we played with
Is
this
that where
guy
the gift shop is?
where the gift shop is now. Yeah. And I never played music out in my life. And we were playing with this guy named BJ. He's a real nice guy, honestly, super great guy. It's me and Shaman and some other guys. And we get up there and we play these songs, and I barely know what I'm doing. Period. You know, they let me be the lead guitar player because I couldn't play anything else. I knew the pentatonic scale or whatever, you know. I get up there, play a little solo up there, and someone from the guy that was leading it, he kind of sang like Chris Isaacs or something, and like was trying to emulate Chris Isaacs. I don't know. So we get up there and he's like, "Hey, BJ."
Did he have
blah,
the
blah, blah.
Did he have the pompadour deal going on?
No, he just sang like him.
Just
He
the
didn't look
voice?
like him. Yeah, he looked like a regular white guy with curly hair. And he goes, either someone from the crowd asked us what our name was, or he said, "Hey, I'm BJ, blah blah blah, and we are Naked Soul." And at no point did we ever discuss the name of the band at any time. So he named us Naked Soul in front of a semi-large group of people. I'm on stage embarrassed that I'm in the band called Naked Soul. There's nothing I can do about it because I didn't know prior to that I was in that band. And so,
Well, congratulations, C
I know.
Square. You
I
are
know.
the lead guitarist in
Uh,
Naked Soul. Wow.
yeah,
You've arrived.
I know. And so I did cry that I got to play out music. Like I never thought I would play music in front of people. I cried about it. But
Like before or after?
afterwards, I thought it was really cool. I was like 20 years old.
Oh, I thought
Mhm.
you meant cried like that was horrible. I get it.
Oh, it was horrible, but I didn't know the difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And about 2 or 3 weeks later, we kicked BJ out of the band at his house, and brought the guy that replaced him to his house. "Hey, this is Aaron. You're kicked out of the band." We went to
Wow.
his house and told him.
Did you just
God.
feel like that was the right way to proceed? Like, obviously, you felt it was the right way to proceed because it's why you did it,
It was honest.
right? You had to know
But
it was
it was-
going to be very awkward.
It was. And we actually brought up, you called us Naked Soul on stage. Like we made that one of the points.
That's totally
Right.
grounds for, yeah, like if we're in a band together, you should at least tell us the name of the band before we're in front of people,
Yeah.
especially the first time you're ever in front of people.
Well, we probably should have had a conversation about it. But
Yeah, why wouldn't that happen? Like, it must have just happened. I don't know. Did he just, like, minutes before you went on stage, like, this is going to work? Like, I'm going to announce this and everybody's going to lose their minds.
he probably drawn our insignia in a notebook and everything with a naked.
Kind of sounds like
naked soul.
was he a narcissist or was he just like on the spot? We got to have a name.
Or just
He
a
wasn't-
bad decision.
Or just not
Yeah.
creative. I don't know.
Or not.
I'm
I'm going to bare my soul for you. I'm naked soul. All of us are bearing our souls. Yes, this makes. I know it's a little deep, but if you go with me, we'll get there.
It was so bad. And
So-
I remember another time I was playing this show. I think it was a Battle of the Bands, and it was one of my extra bands that was kind of good. It was Eyes in Italy, that band that I had. It was like
That's a good
crazy.
band.
It was the best band I've ever been in, and the singer sang for another band, right? But he forgot which band he was in. He goes, "Thank you. We are, you know, Chastity Rider or whatever he said. I don't know the name of the band.
Said the wrong band name, or
He said the wrong band name and on about all the bands
oops.
because he's in two bands and he's like, yeah, I don't know what that other band was called, but we ended up kicking him out for that.
That's a big mess up.
Yeah, we won the battle of the bands, but the other band won it because I'm just joking.
Wake up, Sugar Dave.
And- But it's something about, I don't know. But that first time I played, I remember that being real, like, honored and amazed that I could play in front of people. But I wasn't really good. I mean, I wasn't very good, but I just.
Well, one thing I'll tell you, I was in Italy. Like, I remember thinking, that's before I even knew you. I remember seeing you at the high amp.
Yeah, the high amp. Yeah.
I remember thinking like those guys could make it. You all were really good.
Yeah, we had some good people in that band. It really made it. Like, also, I was a total control freak in that band. I controlled everything about it. Like, that was not. I wrote every riff. I wrote everything. And I remember Rabbit on the other podcast. Him and I would argue all the time, but that's when we became friends because he's a stupid musician. So, I appreciate that, Sugar. Calling you Sugar's weird, Dave.
Sugar. That was
Sugar.
my first. That's how Sugar Dave would introduce himself, like to a stranger. Like, hey, what's your name? They would, whatever their name is, and well, I'm Sugar. And I was like, what the fuck? This guy's going around like I'm Sugar? What?
That had to work with the ladies. Come on.
Look at me.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what you look like. It matters how confident you are.
Confidence, yes.
That's everything.
Absolutely.
It's everything. The best looking guy can have no confidence, and girls won't like him. There's something about confidence.
Or an 8-ball of Coke in her pocket.
That's called powdered confidence.
Powdered confidence.
You should have named yourself Powder. Powder Dave.
I'm trying to think of the first time I played in front of people. I almost think that I was always kind of trying to play in front of people, or you know what I mean? Of course, you practice in the bedroom and stuff, but I always remember, like, my dad would always kind of like show me off. Like, he still does this. He still makes me, for people that don't know I play guitar, he's like, play Sweet Home Alabama. So I got to go every friggin' time. But yeah, for it's like family members and stuff like that. But
didn't you have a story one time where he was like, play, and you were like, no?
Yeah,
he's like, I ain't spending all this money.
It was he wanted me to learn Dwayne Eddy Rebel Rouser. No, 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 bow, no, you know the song Rebel Rouser?
Nope.
It's in Forrest Gump when he's running and stuff. Dwayne Eddy.
We'll look it up.
Old song. Okay, Rebel Rouser. It's a great song. But anyway, he said, I can't remember what the stipulation was. It was something like, learn this song in 30 minutes or you're not getting your driver's license until you're 17 or something like that. And it was like, I knew he was kidding, but yeah, I learned it in like half an hour.
But he was so supportive.
Right.
Of your talent, and that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, out of all the guitars I have, my dad probably bought me most of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My dad was the opposite.
Cool dad.
My dad was like, what are you doing? Sell all you have. Like, my dad said that to me.
But it didn't start that way. It was, I got an acoustic guitar, and of course, as soon as you get an acoustic guitar, you want an electric guitar. So, but it was, you have to stick with it. If you stick with it and you get better and you want to, upgrade, then we'll talk about it. But I stuck with it, and apparently I got better because I got some guitars, man.
You ever play sometimes and you're like, I can't believe I can do this. I do that every time I play. I'm like, I can't believe I can even play at all. I
think I'm more, I can't believe I remember that every time I play.
I'm kind of surprised that I have the ability to play as well as I can, because most things I ever tried I sucked at. You know, it's like I was saying before, I was a nerd, so it was like, and I wasn't good at sports. I'm not muscular. I'm not gonna start lifting weights. So it was like, if I play guitar, maybe a girl will like me if I play guitar. Then it was, and then like I got good at it, and like people started, like older people started paying attention to me because I got better at it. That's pretty good.
Older women.
That too.
Oh.
But it's like, you're in 9th or 10th grade, and seniors are like, that dude can play. That dude over there, he's like 15 years old.
Yeah,
Like
there's
that.
something about you get to a point where if you make enough mistakes on it, something happens. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah, it's
I'm
just
sure
sticking with it.
my college roommates hated me because I was like clang 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 clang. Like, I mean,
But
they had to hate me. It sounded awful, but I did not give a shit. I was just
Yeah.
can you remember the first time you played in front of people, Sugar D?
Not really. I remember playing like when I come around in the high school talent show is before I
yeah.
could drive. I remember like in the gymnasium. I remember I was in a band, Dogs Tom. Before I could drive, I was the drummer. The only reason I was the drummer is because I'd played guitar since I was like 8 years old. So I was probably 14, and like I played for 6 years. And my buddy Brian's like, I want to learn how to play guitar. And I kid you not, I remember like 4 or 5 months had passed, and he was playing Red House. The son of a bitch does the Stevie Ray Vaughan thing where he takes the strap off and puts it behind his back and puts it back on and starts playing Red House. And I was like, fuck this, I'm going to play drums.
You're good at drums.
I'm a rhythm guitarist. I know what I am. I'm good at rhythm guitar, and it just ran all through my.
Oh, dude, you're a great drummer too. When you have whenever you're able to practice and like work on it, because I mean, it's tough to have a kit set up and not annoy your household. But
yeah, and then I also did. I was in a band with him, and we played a long time. That's all we did. We got off school, and I'm not going to say my parents didn't care, but we'd get off school and play till 11 o'clock at night, pretty much every day. So we got pretty good. Then I did the Civil War reenactments. That was bribery. My dad was big into Civil War reenactments, and I'm talking about the ones like on that chick.
Yeah.
Like thousands of. It's crazy, but
music wasn't as good though, right? At those, no.
I would have an acoustic guitar and be like G G G G C C G, and then like my buddy Brian would have a harmonica like. But those people ate that shit up. But you'd play in front of 1,000 people. But I mean, all those songs are G, C, and D. 90% of them.
So you did play? Okay, I thought you were in the Civil War reenactment at cosplay.
We played after. We were in costume, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought you were in it too the way you said that.
Well, we were in costumes, but
right.
Like I remember one time I put my hat on backwards, and I was playing Van Halen.
Yeah.
This dipshit comes up and is like, "You will not disrespect the 13th Regiment of the Ben Connell Camp." And I was like, "Oh my god, what the fuck am I doing?"
Ain't talking about love.
It's funny.
I never did.
You've told me that story like, I don't know, 4,000 times because we worked together forever.
Yeah, they take that shit serious.
But you told me every time I envisioned you, I thought you were in the battle, like going through the battlefield.
No, the only time I've never once did that. Like, we would do parades, and I'd do the then at events they would have like the reenactment. Then afterwards we'd just be on the stage I'd play guitar and he'd play harmonica.
Okay, but all this time you were in the battle for me.
Yeah, we got to play. Like I got to play with Lee Boy Sexton and Ralph Stanley was at one of the real big ones. I mean, it was
cool.
Pretty neat. Not my cup of tea musically, but it was neat to see. Like I've heard of you, and I don't even like that stuff.
Is that what you said to him?
Oh yeah, probably.
Big fan, not really.
Yeah, that's a thing.
yeah.
Like meeting someone that's famous that you don't like. That's a funny thing.
Yeah.
You know, like who would
There's
you hate
Ralph
to?
Stanley. Who? Yeah.
Like I
It's
saw.
funny
that,
about.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Ralph Stanley. Who's the other big bluegrasser that played with Ralph Stanley?
Oh, Ernie Thacker.
Was it like? No. Anyway, I was just gonna say Ralph Stanley. I've had some banjos come through the pawn shop. I do work and own a pawn shop, and Ralph Stanley had signed
on
it.
this.
Was it? I want to say like Doc Watson. It's not Doc Watson. Doc's.
Doc's.
It was another. There's another big bluegrass name, and I'm ashamed I can't even think of it right now. But anyway,
It wasn't
you
Randy
get a
Watson.
banjo and no, yeah, sexual chocolate. But you think like a banjo signed by him would be worth something, but those guys signed like toilet paper. Like their autographs are
Yeah,
worthless
it's like Pete Rose's.
because they just
autograph.
signed everything. Yeah, that was the only point I was trying to make. CSQUARE. You may continue.
I had a story. Oh, one time I was at Mac and Dave's in Mac and Sugar Dave's at in Huntington. You know, the old music shop, and Three Doors Down was playing.
Oh God,
Night.
Was this a story you wanted to share with us last time?
Yeah, and I knew the lead sing. No, I knew the lead guitarist. What he looked like. He kind of looks like Frankenstein if he was fat, kind of like a fat Frankenstein. Is what he looks like. Frankenstein with a high BMI, and that's what he looks like. Okay, sorry. I saw him, and I hate Three Doors Down passionately. I know Bondo doesn't like when I say stuff sucks, but I don't like it. Maybe it doesn't suck. They're more successful than me.
You just said
But
you don't like it. That's how you do it.
I'm allowed to do that.
You're not
I don't like
shitting all over them. You just don't like them. They're not for
I
you.
don't like them, but they're very successful.
That's fine.
And I thought to myself for a minute, if I kill that guy, I got 1/4 of Three Doors Down that's gone. I was like, I can take care of 1/4 of Three Doors Down right now. There's a gun over there. It's a pawn shop type of a place. Of course, I would never murder anybody, but I did think that.
Were you writing love letters to Jodie Foster too? I'm just.
I don't know who Jodie Foster is.
Yes, you do.
Who's Jodie Foster?
Jodie Foster.
Oh,
The
Jodie
actress?
Foster.
Yeah.
What movie are you? Oh, was that Taxi Driver reference?
Yeah.
Oh,
it
okay.
was.
Okay. That was. It just took me.
Who's Jodie Foster? Freaky Friday. Contact.
You're making a taxi driver joke. You're making a taxi driver joke. That was too deep. That was too deep for me. I was talking about Three Doors Down.
Yeah, no, it was more of a Mark David Chapman reference. You know, like you were going. He took out one of the Beatles. You know, it was like you were thinking about taking out one of the Three Doors.
Oh, was he making? Did he write?
There was
letters. Mark David Chapman wrote letters to Jodie Foster.
I was thinking so. Wasn't there something like that? He was.
No, he wrote letters. Didn't he write letters to I was about to say Jay Leno. John Lennon.
No.
Did he write letters to John Lennon before he?
I was thinking he had a crush on Jodie Foster. He was writing letters saying, "Hey, I'm going to do something to impress you."
Was that a thing too?
I was thinking I might have it
Jodie
sideways.
Foster wasn't very old.
No.
She wasn't in Taxi Driver.
That was a guy named John Hinckley.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I had that name totally.
Getting your weirdos crossed up.
Thank you, though.
I didn't know it. I Googled it.
Who did John Hinckley kill?
He shoot Reagan? He shot Reagan, didn't he?
That sounds right. But I've already.
your credibility's toast.
So I can't
Now
remember names anymore.
Now I'm concerned that I'm put in that category as a person.
Well, I mean, you brought it up.
I did talk about killing a musician.
I hate your music so bad that I'm willing to end one of the lives of the band members to cease it. Well, I mean, wouldn't be the first time.
Can we not add this in the podcast? This is going to incriminate me. Listen, if one of the members of Three Doors Down dies, it is not my fault. I don't know where they are.
Don't even know their names.
I don't even know their names. He just obese Frankenstein.
By this time, Three Doors Down has like one original member, and
yeah,
probably. I don't know. I don't keep up with them.
They're playing state fairs. It's good.
So we've got about 10 minutes left to go in the egg timer hour, guys, and I really got to thank everybody here for taking time out of their busy and tiring days, and thank everybody out there that might be watching or listening. And thanks CSQUARE and Sandman for rocking on.
Indeed.
What about Sugar Dave?
Sugar Dave, he's along for the ride with me.
We got 10 minutes left, you said?
Thereabouts.
I want to bring up another thing. This isn't political, but talking about bands, I remember seeing My Chemical Romance, and this wasn't like Shut Up and Sing. It was more like sad. I saw My Chemical Romance at...
They're amazing, by the way.
It was Warped Tour, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the lead singer, and they did great, don't get me wrong, but the girl did the classic.
His name's Gerard Way.
Way.
His name. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Lifted girls in the crowd were lifting up their shirt, and I think this was back when he was battling addiction, so I tried to take that into account. But dude broke down. I was like, no, you don't ever disrespect yourself for a man. And I mean, he just went on a tirade about like,
oh wow,
don't show your. And I it wasn't similar to Steve Earle. I wasn't like, shut up and sing, bitch. I was just like, this is weird.
Yeah, I kind of question like how much of that is actually real versus how much
how
he
woke
just
I
wanted
am.
to or just to create a moment, not necessarily woke, but just to look at me. How dare you?
Imagine how many women he got after that.
That's.
What's he gonna do? Cry when they show him their boobs? Ah, don't you cover it up? Don't you disrespect yourself for me like that? Okay, blow me.
I think it had something to do. I know he struggled with addiction, which I too have dabbled. But I think that's when it was at its peak because something just felt awkward. When you're somewhere and you're like, oh God, I'm embarrassed for you. It was.
That's interesting.
Sounds like it was sad to be there in a way.
The show was great. Don't get me wrong.
They're amazing. I saw them. I've seen them many times. They're really good.
He actually recuperated, and but it just, I don't know. It put a damper on
that
the whole thing.
They had a drummer named Beluki or something like that. His last name was Beluki.
Sure, it wasn't Dukaki.
Nope, right. I almost said it. Anyway, actually, I almost said that. They had this drummer, and I can't remember if he was the replacement one, but they kicked out one of their drummers because he wouldn't use a metronome during the show. They just kicked him out because they were so.
The drummer is a metronome, though, right?
Yeah, he must have had a problem keeping the tempo. For
a lot of professional drummers will use a metronome during the show, during every song.
Huh.
Speaking of that, have you all heard I'm not a Motley Crue fan. I know their songs, but have you heard the Mick Mars?
Yeah.
What he hears while he plays?
Oh, no.
All it is
Mick Mars? Mick Mars has a click in his ear?
Yes. They played his YouTube it after we look at it.
Does he hear Tommy Lee? Does he hear anybody else?
Barely. That tick is dominant in it. I mean, it's like.
I imagine it would have to be because
it'll say like girls. There's a like really almost like a Siri voice, and it's like girls in 3, 2, 1. Then you hear.
Wow.
You hear. I'm like, man, that motherfucker was practiced with that.
Have you been to a Motley Crue concert?
No.
I've been to one in 2009. My wife loves Motley Crue. I mean, I know the songs, but yeah, left up to me, I wouldn't buy a Motley Crue ticket. But anyway, we went, and it was the loudest fucking concert I ever been to.
Really?
It was a great show. I loved it, but it was by far the loudest show I've ever been to. So I can kind of get why, like, yeah, I'll bet you him and Tommy Lee were probably on the same click. I bet they're getting that same feed that like girls 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
And then I thought you were
Smart.
going to talk about how he sold the rights that he has to those songs now. I was reading about that, I think
I
this
didn't know that.
morning. Yeah, he was saying like this is going to get me through like the next probably 7-8 years. I'm probably not going to make it that long. I was like, that's fucking sad.
Yeah. Well, he's got
But
a
yeah,
pretty rough disease, doesn't he? Pretty.
he has for a long time, I guess. He did not move when I saw him live. It looked like he was just. It looked like he had a board up his ass, honestly, and he just didn't move. He was just totally stationary the whole show.
Mhm.
But they were awesome.
Yeah, anyone who's a musician, I think if you heard this is what he plays to, it for me, I don't know, you all may have been pulled off. It would take me a lot of practice to be able to just play a show like that.
How long's he been playing those songs? You know, like he knows how
Yeah.
girls go. He knows Shout at the Devil. He knows, like, I wish Vince had something to. I don't know. Vince Neil's kind of terrible. He
Who-
just
who's worse,
enunciates,
him or Axel?
doesn't enunciate. Who's
When,
worse?
yeah.
Vince Neil's worse.
Really?
Oh God, I don't know, because Vince Neil is on pitch, and he's still singing, and Axel does like the Mickey Mouse Herbert voice now. That's a tough question, man. Axel, I just have to say Axel because I think Axel tries harder.
Okay.
When
That
Sandman,
hurt.
Sandman and I went and we saw Rage Against the Machine last year,
Mhm.
and Zach De La Rocha hurt his leg, and
He
Zach De La
freaking broke
Rocha
it.
he broke it, and he sat down the entire time, and he's still destroyed.
I knew that's what you were going to say.
Yeah, they
He's still
carried him out, set him on the speaker
Yeah.
out front, and he rocked it from there. It was cool.
they're just
Yeah.
as good as you think they would be. They're just as perfect. It was almost too good.
Yeah.
I was like, this sounds exactly like the album.
Who's a band that you went to not like Rage? You expect that, but who's a band you went to that you didn't expect that and you left like, damn, they're good.
Motley Crue.
This is going to be outside the box here, but somebody that pleasantly surprised me was Machine Gun Kelly back in the day.
Wow.
Oh, like as rap? Yeah.
I mean,
I could see
he
that.
was a good front. I mean, he's a good entertainer.
Yeah.
Well, he's also 6'4". The man is
He's-
huge.
He's that tall? I
Oh.
thought he was like a little dude.
No,
He's a string bean now.
he's
Yeah.
tall. He's tall. He does.
So he's like
command a
Conan
stage.
O'Brien.
Yeah, he's huge. I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and it showed his outfit there, and it was massive. Like it was so tall. I don't know why it's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but
I
You
figured
know,
he was like 5'3" or something. I didn't
no,
realize
he's
that.
a huge person. He's very very tall.
Oh,
I mean, I would say that like I went and just saw Thrice, and I'd seen him before back in the day, but I saw him the other day, and I'm not saying it surprised me, but they were as good as the album, better.
Yeah.
Like
Baby,
just perfection.
Baby Metal punched me in the mouth. I just hadn't listened to them before, and then they came out at Rock on the Range, and I was like, good God, they were hard.
I
man.
could see that. Yeah.
Uh,
I'd like to see them.
I don't even know who that is.
I'm
I don't
embarrassed to say mine. They're the Asian. There's 3 of them, right?
I think there's more.
Or 4?
It might be more. Yeah, I mean, it's something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, but the drummer is just like,
Oh.
yeah, they're tight.
Yeah. Google them. They're pretty cool. I like watching their videos on YouTube.
Yeah,
I'd say mine was. I'm embarrassed to say it, man. I was in
Do it.
college.
You only
I was
got
in
about a minute.
college. I was in college and I had caught feelings for this girl, and she invited me to go to Kid Rock concert. That's the only reason I went, and I left going, that motherfucker knows how to put on a show. Still, to this day, to this day, I've not bought one CD, but I left going, damn, that was good.
Dude, Kid
I mean,
Rock puts on a great show.
He knew what he was doing.
see,
I hated on it at the time just because Kid Rock was Kid Rock. It was just like it was too popular. Like as soon as he
I saw
came
him down
out.
at Sparta, and He was not my thing, man.
Like Kid Rock said, my show is going to be like a NASCAR race and a strip club at once. That's what he said.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what he does. It's a strip club and a NASCAR race all in one. I mean,
Oh shit!
Game over.
That'll do it, guys. Thank you guys for being here. That's Egg Timer Hour episode 2. Till next time, y'all.
Peace.
Talk about stuff.